Betting on the NFL adds an entirely new layer of excitement to the sport that we all love. But very much like handing a PS5 controller to your granddad and telling him to play Madden, it can look intimidating at first when you're looking at the odds and the point spread and all of the betting options that are now out there. Well, in this video, I'm going to talk about the basics of NFL betting to help get you on your way so you can start cashing those bets on Sunday. I'll be going over things like the money line, the point spread, totals, prop betting, futures, same game parlays, and I'll even hit up the best do's and don'ts for betting NFL football. And if you are looking for a sportsbook to get started with the NFL, we've got you covered down below in the description with our sportsbook reviews. Let's get into it. So, choosing to bet on the money line means that you are just betting on the team to win the game straight up. Let's look at week 1 of the upcoming 2025 season here, and let's look at this game between the Bucs and the Falcons. So you see in this column, and I'm using Bet365 right now, but here we have the money line column. The Falcons are plus 120, the Bucs are minus 140. The minus sign indicates who the favorite is, and the plus sign indicates who the underdog is. Betting on the favorite is lower risk, but that means lower payout. So backing the favored Buccaneers here is the more expensive venture. A $100 bet on Tampa Bay will return just $171.42, so a profit of just over 71 bucks. But backing the underdog is higher risk, and that means more winnings. And the Falcons would be a nice hit here in week 1. Atlanta's plus 120. So if the Falcons score the upset win, we could take home 220 bucks. And with that same $100 wager, it would be a profit of 120. The bigger the dog, the bigger the reward. Now, the way that odds makers sort of level out the playing field a little bit is with what's called the point spread. And this is the most popular way to bet an NFL game. The spread is a number set by the odds makers that a team has got to cover for us to win our bet. Let's look at that week 1 Bucs-Falcons game. Odds makers have the Bucs as 2.5-point favorites in this one, with the Falcons as 2.5-point home underdogs. I'll talk about that minus 110 in a second, but let's look at what it would take for us to win our bet here. Tampa Bay is the 2.5-point favorite. This means that if we were to bet on the Bucs, they would have to win the game by 3 or more points. Game-winning field goal to break a tie at the end of regulation, we win. Bucs win by 30, we win our bet. And the juice attached here to that minus 2.5 is minus 110. So a $100 bet on the Bucs against the spread with those points will give us a return of $190.90, including the stake, so a profit of over $90. Better return than the money line, right? But what if we wanted to bet on the Falcons? Well, the Falcons can still lose the game, but we can still win our bet. The Falcons can lose by 1 point or 2 points, but they cannot lose by 3 or more points. If we bet the Falcons plus 2.5 and Tampa Bay wins the game 20-18, let's say, 2-point margin of victory, we win our bet. If the Falcons win the game by any margin, we win our bet because they cover the plus 2.5 points as the underdog. But if the Falcons lose by that 3-point margin or more, we're going to lose our bet. The third thing I want to talk about here is the total or the over-under. Odds makers will set a number for the combined score of the two teams, and you can bet on whether the final score will finish over or under that number. We'll use that Bucs-Falcons game here, where the odds makers have set the total at 48.5 points. If we bet the over and the game finished with a score of Tampa Bay 27, Atlanta 24, that equals 51 points, and over that set total of 48.5. So a bet we would win. If it finished Tampa Bay 24, Atlanta 21, that equals 45 points, and under that number, so a lost bet. Should be noted here as well that overtime points do count towards the total. So if you have an overbet that has finished under the number in regulation but is headed to overtime, you are still alive in OT. You can get way more granular with your bets in the NFL as well with something called prop betting. And there are tons of props out there for every game, for players, for teams, but I'll just touch on player props for this one. So with player props, you can bet on things like a player to score a touchdown, a running back's rushing yards total, or if a quarterback will throw an interception or not. But those examples don't even scratch the surface. I'll just focus on Bucs running back Bucky Irving here. Let's say odds makers have an over-under rushing yards total of 71.5 for him, with both the over and the under at minus 110. If we bet the over and Bucky Irving runs for 78 yards, we win the bet. Another betting market you'll see is what are called futures bets. These are longer term player or team bets. Like, let's say you're sitting down in the summer and betting on your team to win the Super Bowl or winning their conference or their division or whether or not they'll finish over or under 10 and a half wins. Or you can even bet on awards like Rookie of the Year or Coach of the Year. And there's definitely some money to be made with these. Last one I'll talk about here is the same game parlay, or SGP as you'll see it at sportsbooks. A parlay is a bet that uses and combines multiple outcomes, and they all have to win or hit for you to win that parlay. The same game parlay is taking events and outcomes from the same game to build a parlay bet slip. Now, parlays can be attractive because of their potentially big payouts, but the more legs that you're adding to the parlay decreases your probability of winning, of course. They always look good on paper, though. Let's use our Bucks-Falcons game, and we'll build an SGP with the Bucks money line, the total going over, and that Bucky Irving going over his rushing yard. So a 3-leg SGP, first leg at -140, second at -115, and the third at -110. We'll risk 100 for a total payout of $611.86, including stake. Last thing I'm going to leave you with are some basic do's and don'ts for betting the NFL. First is obvious, but always do check the injury reports and make sure you are aware of the status of key skill position players, as well as the status of cornerstone guys on both the offensive and defensive lines. Do not always bet on your favorite team. If you don't take this advice, we won't judge you, and we understand that it's fun to bet on your favorite squad, but just understand that it's usually not a winning formula long term and increases the chances of bias negatively affecting your bankroll. Do always shop around. It's important to have accounts spread across multiple sportsbooks so you can always find the best number and the best odds. Maybe you are looking to bet the Falcons as the underdog against the spread, and while we've used +2.5 in our example, maybe another book has a better price, closer to even money, while your book has it at, let's say, -120, or maybe you can even find a half point or full point difference. Do not spend more than you can afford. Bankroll management is super important and a totally separate topic, but you've got to be responsible and bet within your means. Stick to a unit size, whether you can afford $20, $100, $5, whatever it is, stick to it. Another do, always check the weather, especially later on in the season when a lot of these cities see some tricky weather situations. Rain, snow, wind. Weather has a massive impact on the game, especially when you see a team that plays their home games in a dome and they visit an outdoor venue on the road with a blizzard on tap. Always a fun time. Do not chase your losses. An NFL Sunday is always slammed with games, and if you lose a few early kickoff bets, don't just go straight into the late afternoon games and start firing off bets without doing your research. You'll regret it by the time Sunday Night Football rolls around. And to help you out, OddsShark has fantastic NFL matchup pages that you should visit every week for any game you're looking to bet. It is a great section to get your weekly handicapping routine started and should always be part of your sports betting toolkit. If I helped, hit that thumbs up button and subscribe to the YouTube channel if you do not do so already. And if you have any questions, drop them in the comments and we'll be more than happy to get back to you. Happy betting and good luck with those NFL bets.